Ahren, my name's Mike. I'm a friend of your dad's. We go back a long time, and he said you were interested in Porcupine Tree. As luck would have it, I am in a Porcupine Tree tribute. One of the funniest things I ever heard was about our band that, oh cool, a band I've never heard of paying tribute to another band I've never heard of. Porcupine Tree is good music. Don't let that get to you. So even less, probably one of my favorite songs. It was the first song that I heard from Porcupine Tree. It's in drop D, so drop D just means that instead of an E, you are just tuning the E string, the lowest E string, down to a D, which is a whole step down. This little thing down here that I'm hitting is just a hip shot key extender. So it's preset. It's just a mechanical lever. You don't have to have one. You can just do it manually. I do it for live performance because of the expediency. A quick primer on slide guitar. If you've not played slide or not too familiar with it, you have lots of options. As of late, I'm using a glass slide. It's a little lighter. It seems to impart a little bit less noise on the strings, but you can go, regular stainless steel. I've got a brass one. You can get an old Coracedon bottle or something like that. I mean, there's all kinds. Secondly, I'm using a moderate amount of gain. I've got a little Bogner Atma amplifier and a 112 speaker. But the second aspect of slide is your intonation. You really have to be mindful of the position. So when you're playing slide, you want the slide to stop above the fret that you're actually trying to play. Otherwise your intonation will be out and it'll sound horrible. So if we're in D and all of a sudden I go up to, you can hear that you have no pitch reference really until you start covering over the frets. So you have to be right over the fret that you want to be on. So say you're playing a D on the G string at the 7th fret. And a little vibrato is a good thing. Try to maintain something musical and not too fast. It'll just sound bizarre. So the song is in D like most Steven Wilson music. The other thing I recommend too is roll back your tone just a little bit to take off the edge, because what can happen, the slide will create extra noise and just all the string noise and everything. You want to kind of roll back your tone. Experiment with it at home with gain and without gain, and you'll hear exactly what I mean. So the opening sequence begins with the symphonic notes, and you just hear the guitar sort of begin to fade in. What you can do is just kind of hold a D chord and let all the strings ring, and then gradually build up your volume. And the riff begins. So it's essentially a D major chord. You can play it a couple different ways, but what sounds most euphonious to me is playing it at the 7th fret. So we're just playing 3 notes. We're playing on the D, G, and the B strings. So we're playing a D major chord. So what I'm doing is I'm just playing the, you can see, I don't know how well the field of view is, but, so I'm just going up a half step on the B string. So I'm going from an F sharp to a D there, so. If that's clear, I don't know how in depth you want me to go with this, but. So we're bringing the slide all the way up to the 12th fret, so we're playing an open G chord. And then bring it up to an A, so a whole step. And it's fine to let that slide down. So let's pick up from the beginning, and I'll go through the whole intro, and then. Okay, at this point, it's going to go into the upper registers. So what you have to do is ditch your slide quickly. A lot of guys will have a pillow down below their feet when they're playing live. Eric Johnson does that a lot. And you can just drop your slide on it, especially if it's glass. You don't want it to shatter. They're usually pretty rigid and pretty tough, but you don't want it to hit the stage and crack, and then you don't have your slide. That is one benefit of having a metal slide. So let's see. So we've done the. Now I used to play the upper solo, but it gets a little dodgy, a little splashy. I like a little more articulation, so. And I'll end up at the just playing a D major at the octave interval. So what is that? 5th fret plus 12, 17th fret, 17, just a bar chord. So again, you're just bending from the F sharp up a half step. And then dropping down to the D, to the E. So you're bending up a half step each time. So landing on the G, and then barring the 3 chords. Again, we're open G. So B, G, D. And then just bar up or slide up, or I like to. It's kind of I stole this trick from Mike Keneally, where I like to kind of glide the note slightly sharp and then drop it down to the pitch. Feel free to use it if you like the way it sounds. The technique is pretty straightforward, so I'm. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get your muscle memory down, it's a great lead trick. But anyway, back to the lecture at hand. So we're just dropping down from on the G to the landing, of course, on the D. And then it switches to clean, and then he uses an open D. So it's an open D with an E instead of the F sharp. So that would make it. sharp minor. Actually, it's a 9 to a C9, and then a G. And again, remember, since we've got the drop D, it's a little easier to either finger at the 5th fret. It makes it a little awkward, but A sharp, C9. Live, I'll just play an open harmonic at the 12th fret. Again, the same 3 notes. The D, the G, the B. My body is washed up on the Norfolk beach. He was a friend that I could not reach. Or you can do the upper octave as well, so hit the 12th fret in octaves. And then on the 5th fret, you obviously get the 2nd node. So it sends them to the next order higher. He thought I was cold, but I understand. But for the grace of God goes another man. Then it goes to A, but how many just waste away? So it just goes to A sharp. But how many just waste away doing nothing? Now the slide guitar is actually doing this this kind of ethereal effect that is buried in reverb, and you'll just hear it, and it creates that build and suspense. But you're a martyr for even less. And then what I'll do, I'll play the F sharp on, again, the 3 string. You're a martyr for even less, for even less. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll go single note. For even less, for even less, for even less. And then back into the main riff where you kick your distortion on. I'll just turn my volume up and make a little more noise. Ditch the slide. That's the other thing too, is just a natural vibrato. You want to make sure that you have a nice, natural, easy vibrato. So I like more of a wide, sweeping vibrato. I've heard a lot of guys play this really tight. It's out of tune, it's atonal, it doesn't sound good, it lacks intonation. So really focus on a musical vibrato. You know, your dad will have a good ear for it. You should probably have a pretty good ear by now at this point. Make sure you pay attention to that, because people will get into their emotional side and they won't pay attention to how fast the vibrato is. And I've heard otherwise great players with the most horrendous vibrato. Listen to any Metallica. Listen to a Kirk Hammett solo and listen to his vibrato. To me, it is the most atrocious thing. It's all personal opinion on my part, but at the same time, I grew up listening to guys like Tony McAlpine and Yngwie Malmsteen. Listen to their vibratos. They're huge, wide, sweeping, very musical, and very expressive. That's my take on it. You might develop your own taste and your own style. But typically, I like my vibrato to also mirror what I'm playing. So whether it's tempo, if it's subdivided, eighth notes or whatever. So be mindful of that. Good vibrato is important. Anyway, let's see. So we were at the little solo. Then back to the next verse, same as the first as far as the chords are concerned. And then we go to the great big break. So I'll it does is sit there and ride that same D chord. So the lifted E on the D major, and then after the keyboard solo comes in, then there's that beautiful little David Gilmour style guitar solo. So it starts on the C of the B on the 13th fret, and then bends up a whole step. So we're bending up from the. So anyway, we're at the solo. So he starts on the C on the B note, on the B string, and bends up to a D. So I don't know what your finger strength is like, but typically I'll assist my fingers with at least 2 or 3 fingers, and so we're bending up from the C to the D, and then landing on the G. Again, much like the slide, you're going to have to be very mindful of your intonation when doing those big bends. I'll slow them down a little bit and let you hear what they sound like, and then you can make your own decisions. Sorry for the lighting change, my screensaver kicked in. So, while the solo is going on, one thing you can do to kind of create a backing track for yourself, or I can do it, I'll just play through the chords, and after I show you the solo, and they're the same chords under the verse. So it sounds terrible, doesn't it? So maybe just don't use that 5th fret G up here. So all I'm doing is playing the B and then the rest of the G chord. So back to the solo. Sorry, I meant to line on the G. Let's see. So he's starting on the D and then bending up to the E. And then on the adjacent string, so he's going up from the D all the way up to an F. So we're bending a whole step and then another half step on top of that. So we're on that bend, we're playing the G and then bending up to an A and then A sharp. And that's actually where it ends. I'll continue on because it feels like he left it unfinished. So from the top, I'll play the whole solo again at about half speed. Pretty straightforward. So I'll play the backing chords, and then you can isolate this, loop this, whatever you want to do. And I'll go at normal tempo, and eventually we'll get going. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have any questions, have your dad give me a message. I'll be glad to answer whatever. Hopefully it was clear enough. I don't know what your play level is yet, so if I skip some things or went too quickly, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can always rewind it. So good luck and keep it going. Again, remember the key points: your slide intonation and a good vibrato.
009 6 2 2 5 1 2 1 1 0 8 1 0 5